Aubrey McClendon had a relentless love of learning. He valued integrity and a strong work ethic. He possessed a heart for others and an incredible devotion to his community. Throughout his life, he had a passion to create a city where children wanted to grow up and stay to start their own families.
You know, he wanted Oklahoma City to be a place that we could go away to study, but then come back to live here someday, or go away to work for a little bit, but then ultimately come back and raise our families here.
So I think at Duke is kind of what started my dad's interest in mentoring and volunteering, and so he worked both with the Boys and Girls Club and with Big Brother and Big Sister. And so I think more than anything what that kind of taught him was really kind of tremendous impact you can have on a young person when you become involved in their life and create a positive example. And so I think it was just an early lesson for him as to the value of that. I think one kind of meaningful example of how much of an impact that had on my dad is the fact that the little brother he had at Duke is a gentleman named Terry Suggs, and really up until the end of my father's life, he and Terry had a very, very close relationship. And it's really touching to hear Terry talk about how much he appreciated and loved my father.
While Terry was the person Aubrey mentored the longest, he was not the only one. During the summer, more than 100 young people would work at the Arcadia Tree Farm.
Every summer there were 100 to 120 high school youth that were able to get jobs and experience, and he always made a big deal about wanting people to try and succeed there. And if you screwed up, you got a second chance. He really believed that everyone should get a second chance.
Whether on the tree farm, in a business setting, or out and about, meeting Aubrey was a unique and unforgettable experience.
I first met Aubrey McClendon when I was working on some gardens on May Avenue in Wilshire, early one Sunday morning. He drove by, no cars on the street. He pulled over and said, "Hi, Charlie, I'm Aubrey. Listen, if I help you with these flowers, we can get it done twice as fast." And that's the way Aubrey was, always ready to help.
So I go, we're sitting in the cafeteria, we're having a conversation, and Aubrey comes, I see him kind of walking in the building and walking toward me. And for those of you who know Aubrey, his hands were going all over the place, his phone, his hair was, crazy wild. It was Aubrey.
And so one night, about after 11:30, the phone rings, and I almost didn't answer it because I thought it was my husband. Once again, wondering why I hadn't come home. But I did answer it, and this voice said, "Mrs. Belt?" And I said, "Yes." And he said, "This is Aubrey McClendon." And I said, "Yes, Aubrey, what can I do for you?" And he said, "I think that we work more than anybody else on Western." And I said, "I know we do." And he said, "I've noticed that you park on the grand side. And I just wanted to tell you that if ever you're leaving at night and something doesn't look right in the parking lot or you have trouble with your car, please call me so that I can walk you to your car."
Aubrey's endless curiosity, his leadership and vision would set the stage for him to make a lasting contribution to making Oklahoma City a better place.
He had the greatest vision for Oklahoma City and Oklahoma of any leader in the history of our state. And I include his uncle Bob Kerr, the senator, in that. And in his brief life, he accomplished much in gaining the vision that he foresaw.
The entire McClendon family was committed to the Boys and Girls Club. Will and Jack were summer volunteers there.
So I had a great experience with the Boys and Girls Club my senior year. I volunteered there during my summer, and I just had a great time being able to really teach and play sports with, help them with their homework.
Our Boys and Girls Club started in 1995 in a little tiny building in Memorial Park at 36th and Western. Aubrey and Katie and their family have been involved in that organization since its very beginning.
He often talked to us annually about our responsibility, our individual responsibility to take care of others in our community. He lived it, he preached it, he pushed others to recognize that responsibility, And I know for me and for many of us that worked closely with him, that is a lasting change in the way that we view our role and responsibility for others in the community.
In 2017, our board of directors voted to create an Aubrey K. McClendon Lifetime Achievement Award in honor of Aubrey and the wonderful things he did for youth and did for our community. We want to help that legacy live on by honoring an individual each year with those characteristics of caring, compassion, and support for the kids that we love.
Through leadership, conversation, a love of people, and a passion for their community, Aubrey's and the McClendon family's impact will endure for generations.
I think to adequately honor Aubrey's legacy, you would have to say that your boys and girls will be concerned about everybody around them, hoping that every child has an opportunity, an equal opportunity to become all he or she might be, and that they lived a life that was allowed them to become that opportunity. Aubrey was so generous, so caring, so giving,